Hi, I'm Mike, and it is Saturday night, Sunday morning, May 31st, and looking ahead to June in Spokane, Washington. We've got a few to-do lists here. I have a to-do list to go over. First up is there was an accident about a year ago on Sprague in Vista. And apparently there's this group that is complaining about police driving at extreme speeds through their neighborhoods without their lights on. And a year ago, a kid was hit on a bicycle, and it killed him. I think the cop was going like 71 miles an hour. I think the kid went through a red light, but the cop didn't have his lights on. He wasn't code or whatever they were saying. And so this group is getting upset with police driving too fast without their lights on, and they're threatening to throw volleyballs at these moving vehicles. I don't like that. I don't think they should be throwing anything at any city employees. It's actually the Valley. City of Spokane gets involved here in a minute here, but I think it's either the sheriff deputies or the Spokane Valley police that this group has a little problem with. I'm trying to figure out why people would want to throw anything at any employee, so I go meet them. And it turns out that a year ago, there were 4 witnesses that saw this police car hit and kill this child, 17, 16, 15, something like that. There's an official report that's come out where the bicyclist wasn't hit. He just went over his handlebars and sustained these injuries that killed him. The city of Spokane comes into this because its police department did the independent review and investigation. And so they just did the review, they had their findings, and then the prosecutor's office said no charges. Okay, so there's no crime here. So because taxpayers' dollars were involved, and because the city oversight and it deals with the police, and everybody's concerned about that we're getting good value with our police, that document's supposed to become public when no charges are filed. If there's a lawsuit pending, then they hold it. But when it's not, no charges, it's supposed to become public record. Apparently this thing is now sealed, and they're not letting this report come out, even though it's saying something different, and there's supposedly 4 eyewitnesses that are contradicting the findings of this report. It may be because there's a civil suit now, but that's just real typical with the city of Spokane. That whenever it's secretive and they can't let these, because of lawyers, you can't find out what's going on with something. It usually means the taxpayers are going to be paying millions of dollars somewhere down the line. I'd like to see that report right now. I'm wondering about my elected officials, the city council, the mayor, and that, who are also responsible for the city's interests here, if they've seen the report or if they want to see it. And whether there's a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit or not, we as citizens, we have a right to understand what's going on with these police interaction with the public and the police. And even though it's a different jurisdiction, our law enforcement is providing the oversight. If they're going to be involved in secret investigation, they can't release the stuff for whatever reason. I'm not so sure I want us doing that type of investigation. I do appreciate the Spokane Police Department looking at a very difficult situation. Anybody hitting a kid, that's traumatic. We just want the facts here, and we're not making any judgment. But if we can't get the facts, I feel we have a problem. So that's number 1 on my list for coming up in June. Next thing is this, apparently the city council, somebody's there thinks that they have to have a policy in Spokane that if you hire somebody, there's mandatory sick leave if your employees want it. This guy, someone on the city council, has got a committee of like 12 people to discuss the matter, and they're going to decide whether they're going to tell me as an employer how I'm going to compensate my employees. And I don't really understand why any elected official is concerned with that, and why they should be, they don't risk anything, they don't invest anything, they don't know what the relationship for me hiring anybody, and for them to decide that I'm going to do certain things in the compensation, regarding the compensation of an employee contract, is not something I really want my city council involved in. I don't actually have a business license in the city of Spokane because there's always someone in the city of Spokane that seems to want to run everyone else's business. And so this week, apparently, or next week, or in the weeks to come, the city council is going to have this ruling, and they're going to dictate to all the businesses in town whether they have to have this mandatory sick leave. I object to that. I got to go down and talk to them and say, stay out of my business, please. Also, at the city council is one of the city council people, councilmen, is going to write a letter, or the city council is going to vote to send a letter to the governor and the legislator saying that we need to be taxed more. I don't know who elected these people or why, but if they think their job is to tax us more and then send it to someone else, to the state, to the whoever, they don't understand their job. They don't understand their responsibility to me. They don't understand their responsibility to the citizens of Spokane. If they need to tax, it better stay in the city limits. Now, I will allow it can go across the city limits a little bit because the city tends to screw its neighbors with its utility rates, and I think they charge 50% more if you don't bend to their will. But essentially, if we're taxing and someone on the city council says we need to be taxed more, it don't need to be leaving the city limits. What are you doing? So we got that coming up. There's a few other things happening in June here. There's a sanctuary city thing. If a city is going to be a sanctuary, to me, it's a sanctuary for the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. The citizens have protections under the law here. But apparently, we're advertising that illegal aliens can come here, no questions asked, and they can live off the taxpayer. Now, what you think about immigration isn't really the issue here. I mean, people have a right to live, but I don't know why the city has to invite people to live off anybody, legal or illegal. If they're coming here and they're going to get housing and they're going to get these subsidies and they're going to get food stamps, why are we advertising for that? Is that what we want here in Spokane? Really? What we want is people to come here and invest in themselves, invest in their community, and make something of themselves, and not look for the government to make their lives better. Individuals make their lives better. They hold the power. When you go and you advertise handouts, they surrender the power to make their lives better. They become dependent on government. But the bigger issue, why do our property owners and why do the people that pay our taxes have to pay for that? Who decided to do that? Who signed that into law? Those are my main things for the week of June 1st, I guess, for the city of Spokane.